साधनम् आयुर्वेदोपदेशेषु विधेः परमादर आयुक्कामयमानेन धर्मार्थसुखसाधनम् आयुर्वेदोपदेशेषु विधेः परमादर आयुक्कामयमानेन धर्मार्थसुखसाधनम् आयुर्वेदोपदेशेषु विधेः परमादर आयुक्कामयमानेन धर्मार्थसुखसाधनम् आयुर्वेदोपदेशेषु विधेः परमादर
Ayurveda is a part of our great Vedic heritage, and it's one of the most ancient sciences of health and healing. Through this serial, it's our humble effort to carry the message of Ayurveda to your homes and hearts. I hope and pray that we will have your blessings for this great venture.
According to Ayurvedic thought, there is no landmass in this entire world which is not blessed bounteously by Mother Nature with a very special medicinal cover. Be it mountains, valleys, plains, deserts, or even coastlines, every place has got its own set of flora and fauna designed to suit and cure every ailment in those prevailing areas.
उचितो यस्य यो देशः तज्जं तस्यौषधं हितं देशे अन्यत्रापि वसतस्तत्तुल्यगुणजन्म च उचितो यस्य यो देशः तज्जं तस्यौषधं हितं देशे अन्यत्रापि वसतस्तत्तुल्यगुणजन्म च
यस्य देशस्य यो जन्तु तस्य तज्जौषधं हितं. For the person who is born in a particular place, the plants growing there are the best suited. That is one of nature's, because nature is going to provide the solution for you. Your task is to discover the right solution after life.
Ayurveda says that to use locally available things. Even to quote Ayurveda, it says that yasmin dese tu yo jada tasmin tada aushadam hidam. It is very categorical, it is very clear, there is no ambiguity or any difference of opinion or anything.
Who is the best physician? Who alleviates the pain from the disease? He is the best physician. So in Charak Samhita, in many chapters, they have given the qualities of the physician, the qualities of the drug, how to use and how to minimize and how to grow it and how to give so that it could be easily consumed by the patient.
When we take a medicine, the action is in the body. See, by observing the action of the drug in the body, in the system, we understand the efficacy of the herb.
According to Ayurveda, there is nothing in this world which cannot be called medicine. Metals and minerals like gold, silver, copper, lead, mercury, sulfur, iron, etc. are purified by Ayurvedic procedures to form pasmas or sindurs, which are potent medicines in curing several chronic diseases.
Vayu Guliga, Gorojanadi Guliga, Saraswadarishtam, Sorna Bhasmam, Siddhamagaradvajam, all these are contains gold in various forms, of course.
Gold we get it in biscuits, which is flattened by physical means. Then it is scrapped and it is converted to granules. These granules are ground with hand only along with the medicine to make pulp, and that is used for making gulikas and tablets.
In certain items, gold itself is made use of. Some other cases, we make use of gold bhasma. In the case of Saraswadarishtam, it is very good for intellect and memory power and all that. In the case of Vayu Guliga, it is very good for Vadanilomium.
From the roots, barks, seeds, flowers, fruits, and resin found abundantly in plants, hundreds of effective Ayurvedic formulations are formed in the form of kashayams, legiums, rasayanams, churnams, asavams, and tailams, and they are formed following stringent procedures prescribed in the Ayurvedic texts.
Ayurveda describes more than 2,000 medicinal plants for different purposes. More than that, India has got more than 10,000 species of medicinal plants as per a survey conducted by Man and Biosphere Project by Government of India, Ministry of Environment.
The scholars opine that between 450 and 650. And on top of it, what has happened is that many new plants were substituted for these original plants. So when you come to actual practice, when you look at a textbook like Saraka or Sushrita, we'll find at least 1,500 botanicals equated to these 650 plants. So we can only give rough estimates. It would be unwise to exactly. But anyway, we can say the entire Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia has used only maybe around 1,500 plants, although the folk tradition uses around 10,000.
The botanists say there are more than 7,000 drugs are there which is having medicinal properties. As far as Ayurveda is concerned, totally it is somewhere around 750 drugs. And 450 are being used.
Herbs are formulated just like a king and his courtiers organized to execute the duties of a state. So in all Ayurvedic textbooks, we have the concept of pradhana dravya and apradhana dravya.
Iha hi dravyam panchamahabhutatmakam tasyadhishtanam prithvi yonirudagam ghanilanala samavaya nivritti vishesham.
The Ayurvedic therapeutics gives a concept of rasa, guna, virya, vibhaga and prabhava, and it is an entirely different concept from modern science. And there are two ways of consuming things for human being. One is in the form of food, another is in the form of medicine. In the form of food, what is important is the rasa, the taste. We all define our food as per its taste, the palatability. Whereas medicine is not by taste, by its virya.
Rasa pradhanam aharam and virya pradhanam aushatam. So again this, if we were to translate it literally, rasa means taste and virya means potency.
Rasa, guna, virya, vibhaga, etc. are all properties because they are the attributes of the drug. Because as a drug we have to see what all principles are there and which way it is acting on the system.
Rasa perceived by the mouth and rasa of the drug, these two are entirely different. Sometimes the drug to the mouth may taste entirely different, while its exact efficacious rasa may be different.
Rasaha swadvam lalavana tiktoshna कषायकाः षड्द्रव्यमाश्रितास्ते च यथा पूर्वं बलावहाः तत्राध्यामारुतं घ्नन्ति त्रयस्तिक्तादयः कभम् कषायतिक्तमधुराः पित्तमन्येतु कुर्वते.
The seed of ahara, the nutritional element, is covered with this so-called fruit which we call it. That is why we say it is rasa pradhana, which means there is the tasty aspect is very important as far as food is concerned, because it is an incentive. I mean, that is why we naturally go through. Ahara means swayam aharate yasmat. Aharana means to take by force. That is the very word meaning of the word ahara. Nature has designed it in such a way that any living being will just move towards the food by force. There is no compulsion. Whereas aushadha is something which you need to be which you need compulsion to take, and it is not tasty.
In food, as per the modern understanding, food, the primary metabolites, the starch, the protein, or the staple kind of thing which are available, they are important. Whereas the medicine, if you take the Vitania, Somnifera, Ashwagandha, the secondary metabolites are important, which gives the virium, which gives the, which is the precursory reason for vibhagam. Similar secondary metabolites are important. You don't find much secondary metabolites in things like rice, which is a food, or wheat, which is a food.
All the Ayurvedic medicines are both food and medicine. How? Because Ayurvedic medicine is not an active ingredient of a particular drug. The whole drug is being given, and the drug, they say, it is of Panchabhuta origin. All the Bhutas are there in certain specific proportions, and that will nourish the Panchabhutas in the patient's body. So actually this drugs act, the action is not for a particular disease, for all the Bhuta structure. So this action is not there in the modern medicine. They take from extract.
In Ayurveda, food and medicine, everything the same. There is no problem like that. I can say from 55 years experience. See, I will explain it also. The thing is, the most difficulty aspect of Ayurveda nowadays is, they are, see, most of the ordinary practitioner does not insist on pathya. If we insist on pathya, there will not be so much demand for this medicine.
In a treatment, actually, we understand the, we try to develop the combinations of drugs with respect to the properties. Understand? So when we say Ushna, it has a burning action, or it produces some reduction in the body. When we say Shida, it produces a condensation.
Ushna-sheta-gunotkharsha tatra viryam dvidha smritam.
Gunas are the property, like Guru, Manda, Hima, Sniktha, Sashna, Sandra, Mridu, Sthira. So like 10 properties are there. And the opposite 10 is there. So that's what I told is the principle of opposites.
Guru, Manda, Hima, Sniktha, Shlakshna, Sandra, Mridu, Sthira, Gunaha, Sasushma, Vishadaha, Vimshati, Saviparyayaha, Guna, Sasukshma, Vishadaha, Vimshati, Saviparyayaha.
Vibhaga is the biotransformation.
Some drugs do not undergo much modifications when it is ingested into the system. Some drugs undergo radical transformation. If you say a drug is going to act on the basis of its vipaka, it means that what matters more is what the end state to which it is converted after it gets ingested into the system.
Tridha vipako dravyasya swadvamla kadukatmakaha.
Rasaguna Virya Vipaka Siddhanta only says that you cannot understand a drug or any substance of nature as a thing in itself. You have to understand, because if you look at it as a thing in itself, the properties or actions that you may predict to it will not unfold when it is actually inserted into a biological system. Because when any drug is put into a biological system, the biological system acts on it, and it then transforms it into another state. And it is that state which is the basis for drug action, which is why we have the Rasa and Vipaka as two reference points. Rasa represents the drug as it is before it is ingested into the biological system, ingested by the biological system. And Vipaka indicates the state where, the end point, what happens to it after it gets ingested into the biological system. Observing animal behavior is one way in which you can get clues to the medicinal properties of plants. So there are verses in the Atharva Veda which says the medicine which the Nakula, the mongoose knows, the medicine which the Garuda knows, the medicine which the cat knows, let it come to my help. Which means it's very commonly observed that animals, whenever they get sick, by instinct they are able to discover the remedies for their diseases. And so humans observe this. They get the first clue from observance of animal behavior. And then they apply it into human society.
The patient, physician, attendant and the Aushadha are called the Chatushpadas, or the four limbs of Ayurveda. Of these, Aushadha is said to have four properties, and they are Bahukalpam, Bahugunam, Sampannam and Yogyam, which are ease of use, endowment with multiple curative properties, high potency, and the ability to be used in different disease conditions in different patients.
Bahukalpam, Bahugunam, Sambannam, Yogyamaushadham. Bahukalpam, Bahugunam, Sambannam, Yogyamaushadham, Yogyamaushadham.
In the last few episodes, we have tried to give you an overview of the Ayurvedic principles of understanding, studying and dealing with the health and ill health of the human body, and we do hope that we have been successful in this attempt. We are well aware that this is only a beginning and that we have touched only the tip of the iceberg. However, now that you have a basic understanding of we would like to move on to certain topics of current interest, which are certainly relevant to you, the patient or the beneficiary. The new laws, the intellectual property rights, the Biodiversity Conservation Act, all have an impact on the practice of Ayurveda, and it is important that the community is aware about these issues. Hence, in the next episode, we will deal with various controversies with regard to the practice of Ayurveda today. Please revert to us with your valuable comments about our serial. Write to us at Ayurveda, PB number 7102, Trichy Road, Coimbatore 641045, or email us at ayurveda@vsnl.com.
ब्रह्मा कृत्वायुषो वेदं प्रजापतिमजीगृहत् ब्रह्मा कृत्वायुषो वेदं प्रजापतिमजीगृहत् सोऽश्विनौ तौ सहस्राक्षं सोऽत्रिपुत्रादिकान् मुनीन् ते अग्निवेशादिकां सेदु पृथक् चन्द्राणि ते निरे ते अग्निवेशादिकां सेतु पृथक् चन्द्राणि ते निरे ब्रह्मा कृत्वायुषो वेदं प्रजापतिमजीगृहत् ब्रह्मा कृत्वायुषो वेदं प्रजापतिमजीगृहत्